We've already explored some of government's role in the economy. We've looked at already how government protects individuals in the economy. Government protects individuals' property, not just physical property, but also intellectual property with things like trademarks and patents. We've also seen how government protects individual consumers and individual workers and individual investors and savers with various actions. Those are all covered in Chapter 11, Section 3, as well as Section 2 for property rights. We also briefly looked at how government tries to make markets work better, mainly by promoting competition. Government does things like outlawing bid rigging, for example, to promote competition among producers, because competition's good. Competition drives prices down and keeps quality high. So government tries to promote or make markets work better. Another area where markets break down is when we have market failure. Anytime a market does not produce the right number of goods or sell them at the right price, we have what's called market failure. That breaks down if we don't have competition. It also breaks down in two specific areas: externalities and in public goods. So because markets do not do a good job of providing the right number of goods or services with externalities, well, then government steps in and helps. And since markets do not provide the right number of public goods, government steps in and helps. Let's look at externalities first. As a review, externalities are either costs or benefits that affect someone other than the producer or consumer when a good is either produced or consumed. An example of an externality can be seen if we look at immunizations, if we look at things like flu shots. Let's say this nurse is from CVS Pharmacy, and this student is getting a shot, all right? The producer of the shot is CVS Pharmacy, and the consumer of the shot is this student. But other people are affected by this student getting a flu shot. As a result of this student getting a flu shot, this student's classmates, this student's teachers, and in fact, everyone who comes into contact with this student would be less likely to get sick. They'd be less likely to get the flu because this student received a flu shot. That benefit is called a positive externality. Now, if just the market provided goods like flu shots that produce positive externalities, they would be underproduced. However, government steps in and tries to promote goods like flu shots because they produce positive externalities. So this is why in some communities, flu shots are given away for free or maybe for a reduced price. In fact, this is why I got a flu shot a few weeks ago and I didn't have to pay anything for it. It was paid for by our school district. In other words, your parents' tax dollars paid for my flu shot because there are a lot of positive externalities with me giving a flu shot. My students are less likely to get sick from me. My colleagues are less likely to get sick from me. Anybody in our community is less likely to get sick because I received a flu shot. An even bigger example of positive externalities and government promoting positive externalities can be seen with higher education, can be seen with college. Here in the state of Ohio, if you go to a state college like what's seen here, the Ohio State University, your tuition is lower than somebody who comes from out of state. And that's because our state government, our tax dollars, are helping pay for that college education. Somebody from Michigan has to pay full tuition. Somebody from the state of Ohio has a reduced rate because some tax dollars are being used to provide their education. And the reason is simple. There are a lot of people that benefit from people in Ohio getting a college education. It obviously benefits the student, and the Ohio State University benefits from getting their tuition money. They're the producer and consumer, but other people benefit. When students go to college, they produce better trained, better educated workers. So firms in the state of Ohio benefit from having more people in Ohio go to college. When people go to college, they get a higher paying job and they pay higher taxes, which means that we have more tax money to spend on things like roads and schools and police and fire protection. So communities benefit when people go get a higher education. And if somebody goes to college and, let's say, majors in business and gets out and creates a business of their own, that's a huge benefit. They might provide our community with goods and services that are being underproduced before, that there's great demand for that's not being met. Or they might create jobs. And job creation is important, not just for people that are unemployed, but for all workers, because more jobs raises wages and improves working conditions. This is why college education is subsidized by our state government. This is why our state government wants you to go to college so much that they're willing to offer you a cheaper price if you go to a state college like Ohio State or Kent State or Akron or Bowling Green. If you go to a state university, your tuition is lower than an out-of-state student because of positive externalities and government promoting those positive externalities.